Purpose and passion. Finding your why. Introduction. The question beneath the noise. There comes a moment in almost every life when achievement no longer feels like enough. You may be busy, you may be progressing, you may even be succeeding. But something feels misaligned. It is not always loud. It is often quiet. You wake up and ask, almost under your breath, "Is this really it?" This question is not weakness. It is not ingratitude. It is not a lack of ambition. It is your inner life asking for meaning. Purpose is not about doing more. It is about understanding why you are doing anything at all. Passion is not excitement. It is energy directed with meaning. And when passion has no direction, it becomes restless. When purpose has no action, it becomes frustrating. When life has no why, it becomes noise. This audiobook is not about chasing inspiration. It is about uncovering the deeper pattern already inside you. We will identify your passion signals. We will test them against reality. We will connect them to service and contribution. And we will turn them into a clear purpose you can live by, plan by, and measure by. Along the way, I will introduce you to someone named Daniel. Daniel is not famous. He is not a perfect story. He is simply a realistic person. He works hard. He is capable. He is responsible. But he feels that quiet emptiness. He has talent, but not direction. And you will hear how clarity forms for him. Not through fantasy, but through honest questions, practical experiments, and deliberate alignment. By the end of this audiobook, you will not just feel inspired. You will have clarity, structure, and a path. Let's begin. Chapter 1. Passion is a clue, not a career. Most people misunderstand passion. They think it must arrive fully formed. Like lightning, like a calling, like something obvious. But passion rarely arrives as a finished product. It shows up as curiosity, as interest, as something you lose time doing. Passion is a clue. It is your nervous system leaning towards something that matters. Think about your life. When do you feel most alive? When do conversations feel energizing instead of draining? When do you feel sharp, focused, immersed? That is not random. Those moments are data. Now let's ground this. Daniel is 34. He works in a stable role. He is competent. People trust him. He is dependable. But he has a pattern. Every Monday morning he feels heavy. Not because he hates work, but because his work feels like maintenance, not meaning. He tells himself, maybe I'm just tired. Maybe it's stress. But he notices something. When he helps a junior colleague understand something, he feels alive. When he solves a messy problem and turns it into a system, he feels alive. When he talks about building something of his own, he feels alive. Those moments are not random. They are signals. Your first action is simple. For the next week, notice when your energy rises. Not when something is impressive. Not when something is profitable, but when something feels deeply engaging. Write it down. Not in vague words like good or nice. Write the exact activity. Was it teaching someone? Solving a problem? Building a plan? Creating a resource? Helping someone emotionally? Organizing chaos? Leading a conversation? Patterns will emerge. Passion leaves footprints. You just have to observe them. But let me add a crucial point. Passion is not always comfortable. Sometimes you feel alive because you are challenged. Sometimes you feel energized because you are stretched. So do not confuse comfort with passion, and do not confuse stress with misalignment. The goal is not a life without difficulty. The goal is a life where difficulty is meaningful. This is why passion is a clue. It does not give you the whole map, but it points you toward the right direction. Chapter 2. The 3 passion domains. To find your why, we narrow the field. Most passions fall into 3 domains: creation, contribution, mastery. Creation is about building something, writing, designing, starting, innovating, producing. Contribution is about helping, teaching, guiding, serving, supporting, mentoring. Mastery is about improvement, training, studying, refining, becoming excellent. Some people are primarily creators, some are primarily contributors, some are primarily masters. Most are a blend, but usually one domain is dominant. Ask yourself, do I feel most alive when I am building something new? When I am helping someone grow? Or when I am pushing my own limits? Your answer matters. Because purpose sits at the intersection of passion and contribution. If you love mastering skills but never share them, you may feel incomplete. If you love helping others but never develop your own ability, you may feel stagnant. Now watch Daniel. Daniel assumed his passion was entrepreneurship because he liked the idea of freedom. But as he tracked his energy, he discovered something. The parts that energized him were not the fantasies of success. They were specific. He loved turning messy processes into clean systems. He loved teaching people how to do something better. He loved seeing other people become confident through clarity. That is contribution and mastery. Creation may still be part of his future, but his dominant energy domain is clear. This matters because many people waste years chasing the wrong version of passion. They chase excitement, but excitement is not a domain. Excitement is a feeling. Domains are patterns. Here is another way to see it. Creation says, I want to build something that did not exist before. Contribution says, I want to help people move from pain to strength. Mastery says, I want to become excellent and raise standards. Now pause. If you had to choose one domain to invest in for the next year, what would it be? Do not overthink it. Choose what feels true. This is not a prison. This is a starting point. Purpose becomes clearer when you commit to a direction long enough to see results. Chapter 3. The Energy Audit. Before you define purpose, you must remove noise. Many people mistake obligation for passion. They are simply used to something. The Energy Audit reveals truth. For 1 week, track your activities. After each significant task, rate your energy. Drained, neutral, energized. Do not judge. Just observe. At the end of the week, look for patterns. You will likely see that certain conversations lift you. Certain environments sharpen you. Certain topics animate you. Those are signals. Purpose does not hide. It whispers through repetition. Now here is a deeper psychological layer. If you were trained to survive, you may have disconnected from your energy signals. Some people learn to ignore desire. They learn to prioritize duty. They learn to become useful, not fulfilled. So if your energy audit feels confusing at first, that is normal. But do not quit. Energy is one of the cleanest indicators of alignment. Daniel's audit showed him something painful. He was spending most of his week in neutral or drained zones. Not because he was incompetent, because he was misaligned, but it also showed him a path. He had 2 energized zones. 1, when he was solving problems that helped people. 2, when he was planning and structuring his own growth. Those 2 signals became his clue. Here is the key. Purpose is not found in one moment of inspiration. It is found in repeated moments of alignment. So keep tracking. If you do this honestly, you will begin to see your purpose forming like a picture coming into focus. Chapter 4. Childhood Clues. Before expectation, before pressure, before survival, you are naturally drawn to something. What did you love before you were judged for it? That question alone can unlock decades of confusion. Think back. What fascinated you as a child? What games did you invent? What subjects absorbed you? What did you pretend to be? Children reveal authentic passion without strategy. Maybe you organized games. Maybe you built imaginary cities. Maybe you explained things to others. Maybe you performed. That core impulse rarely disappears. It simply gets buried under practicality. Your purpose often reconnects you to your original impulse, but in a more mature form. The child who loved explaining things may grow into a teacher. The child who built forts may grow into a builder. The child who mediated arguments may grow into a leader. Purpose evolves. But the seed is early. Now here is a truth most people miss. Your childhood clues may also be hidden in what you were denied. If you were told you talk too much, maybe your voice matters. If you were told you are too sensitive, maybe empathy is your gift. If you were told you ask too many questions, maybe insight is part of your lane. Daniel remembered something. When he was young, he loved writing notes to himself. He used to map ideas. He used to make lists of what he would build one day. But as life got serious, he stopped. He became practical. He traded imagination for stability. And now he felt the cost. This chapter is not about nostalgia. It is about recovery. Your original impulse is not childish. It is foundational. It may not define your career, but it often defines your calling. Chapter 5. Passion without service becomes self-absorption. Passion alone is not purpose. Purpose requires contribution. You may love fitness, but how does it serve? You may love technology, but how does it help? You may love psychology, but what does it heal? Purpose answers one question. Who benefits when I show up fully? This is where many people stall. They want passion to feel good, but purpose requires responsibility. Now here is the deeper psychological layer. Some people fear service because it feels like pressure. They think, if my purpose is about helping others, what if I fail? But purpose is not perfection. Purpose is direction. Contribution is not performance. Contribution is value. Ask yourself, if I became excellent in this area, who would it help? If the answer is no one, dig deeper. Sometimes contribution is indirect. Sometimes it is community-based. Sometimes it is deeply personal. But true purpose extends beyond the self. Daniel tested this. He asked, who benefits when I show up fully? He realized something. He wanted to be the kind of person who helps others build clarity and confidence through structure. Not just because it felt good, but because he had suffered from confusion himself. His contribution was connected to pain and redemption, and that is common. Sometimes your purpose is not what you love. It is what you learned the hard way. Passion fuels you. Purpose directs you. Together, they create sustainable meaning. Chapter 6. The Why Ladder and the Purpose Statement. Now we shape clarity. Many people cannot find their why because they stay on the surface. They say, I want more money. But why? I want freedom. Why? So I can live without fear. Why? So I can be present for my family. Why? So my children grow up stable, confident, and loved. Now you are touching the real why. This is the why ladder. You keep asking why until the answer becomes emotional and meaningful, not just logical. Now we will do a guided clarity exercise together. Pause if you need a pen and paper. Take one goal you have right now, something you want. Write it down. Now ask, why do I want this? Answer honestly. Now ask again, why does that matter? Answer. Ask again, why does that matter? Answer. Do it 5 times. Do not rush. Somewhere around the 3rd or 4th why, you will hit the real reason. The real why often involves peace, service, legacy, healing, freedom, contribution, or connection. Now turn it into a purpose statement. Use this structure. I am committed to developing my ability in blank so that I can contribute blank to blank. For example, I am committed to developing my ability in communication so that I can bring clarity to overwhelmed professionals. Or, I am committed to strengthening my discipline so that I can model resilience for my family. Now write your first version. It will not be perfect. That is fine. Your first purpose statement is a compass, not a contract. Daniel wrote his. I am committed to developing my ability in systems and communication so that I can help people move from confusion to clear execution. That one sentence changed him, not because it was magical, because it was definite. Clarity concentrates energy. Chapter 7. The cost of misalignment and the resistance to purpose. Now we need to talk about what most people avoid. Misalignment is expensive, not only financially, emotionally, mentally, spiritually. The cost of misalignment shows up as low-grade anxiety, procrastination, overthinking, resentment, a constant sense that life is not quite yours. Misalignment creates drift, and drift is dangerous because it looks normal. You still show up, you still perform, you still function, but inside, you are slowly disconnecting from meaning. Now here is why people avoid purpose, because purpose demands change. If you become clear, you can no longer hide behind confusion. If you become clear, you have to say no to what is comfortable. If you become clear, you have to confront fear. Fear of failing, fear of being judged, fear of losing approval, fear of starting late, fear of disappointing people. Purpose threatens the identity you built for safety. So your mind resists. It says, wait until you are ready. It says, you need more information. It says maybe later. But later becomes years. Daniel felt this resistance sharply. When he wrote his purpose statement, he felt a strange pressure. It was not from God. It was from fear. Fear said, now you have to live up to this, but purpose is not pressure. It is direction. A purpose statement is not a demand to be perfect. It is an invitation to align. Here is what to do when resistance appears. Name it. Say, this is fear of change, not lack of ability. Then shrink the action. Purpose becomes real through small, consistent steps. You do not need a dramatic leap. You need steady alignment. Chapter 8. The 12-week integration model. Now we activate purpose in real life. Because purpose is not a feeling, it is a framework. Here is a simple 12-week model. Week 1. Clarify your purpose statement and choose one domain to focus. Week 2. Identify one skill to develop that supports your purpose. Week 3. Create a weekly rhythm, one deep work session and one review session. Week 4. Produce something small that expresses purpose, a post, a lesson, a draft, a plan, a service action. Weeks 5 to 8. Repeat and improve. Build consistency. Track evidence. Weeks 9 to 12. Refine direction. Increase difficulty slightly. Create a meaningful output. The point is not speed. The point is embodiment. Purpose becomes identity through repetition. Now ask yourself, if I lived my purpose for 12 weeks, what would change? You would gain proof. Proof builds belief. Belief reduces drift. Drift disappears when you have evidence. Daniel used this model. He committed to 12 weeks of teaching one concept weekly, documenting what worked, and building a small system he could share. His life did not change overnight, but his confidence changed quickly, because he was no longer guessing, he was practicing. Chapter 9. Aligning work and calling. Not everyone can immediately turn purpose into profession, and that is fine. Your calling can exist inside your current life. You can express purpose through side projects, mentorship, community work, creative output, habit changes. Alignment begins internally before it becomes external. Start small. If it involves health, model health consistently. If it involves leadership, Lead in small spaces first. Waiting for the perfect platform delays growth. Purpose is practiced before it is recognized. Now, a key truth. The reason some people never feel aligned is they keep waiting for permission. But purpose does not require permission. It requires obedience. You can live your why quietly while you build capacity. You can develop your skill before you gain visibility. You can become the person now. Daniel did not quit his job immediately. He started where he was. He mentored. He created. He built a small practice of contribution, and slowly his identity shifted. He no longer felt like someone waiting. He felt like someone building. Chapter 10. The courage to choose and the why that outlasts you. Clarity demands decision. Once you see your direction, you cannot pretend you do not. There is a cost to alignment, and there is a cost to misalignment. You must choose your cost. Choosing purpose may require letting go of approval, leaving certain environments, releasing outdated identities, saying no more often, but the alternative is drift. A life aligned with purpose feels demanding but meaningful. Now we go deeper. Your strongest why is not the one that excites you. It is the one that outlasts you. Impact, legacy, people, contribution, not ego, not attention. Ask, if my life was truly aligned, what would I leave behind? A family strengthened, a body of work that helps others, a business that serves a real need, a standard raised, a message lived. Daniel refined his why here. He realized he wanted to leave behind something that helped people stop drifting, not because he wanted applause, because he knew what drift had cost him. That became his legacy anchor. Here is your final action. Read your purpose statement again. Ask, does this feel meaningful enough to commit to for the next 5 years? If not, deepen it. If yes, you are ready. Conclusion. Live your why. Purpose does not arrive fully formed. It is clarified through action. You do not find your why and then begin. You begin, and your why becomes clearer. You now have the tools. Passion as a clue. Domains of passion. The Energy Audit. Childhood clues. Purpose through service. The why ladder. A clear purpose statement. The cost of misalignment. Resistance awareness. A 12-week integration model. Practical alignment where you are. The courage to choose. And the why that outlasts you. Now the only thing left is to live it. Say this quietly. I choose alignment over approval. I choose contribution over comfort. I choose direction over drift. I choose to develop my passion into purpose. I choose to live deliberately. You are not lost. You are becoming aligned. Continue building. Continue refining. Continue choosing. Your purpose strengthens with every aligned action. If this audiobook helped you, subscribe to Be Believe, Become TV for more structured teachings that turn identity into action and purpose into results. Your why is not a theory. Put it into practice and let it shape your life.